All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're basically stepping inside a time capsule. We're headed to Skokloster Castle, an absolutely stunning piece of Swedish history. We're going to explore its incredible architecture, dig into some of its royal secrets, and really figure out what makes this place a national treasure. So just think about this for a second. What if a castle like this, from way back in the 17th century, could actually tell its own story? I mean, if these walls could talk, right, what would they say? That's kind of the question we're diving into today as we unlock the secrets of Skokloster. Okay, so our story really starts with that first impression. And wow, what an impression it is. This place is a genuine masterpiece of 17th century design. You know, Skokloster is pretty much the textbook definition of Baroque architecture. And if you don't know Baroque, think big, think grand, think dramatic. Everything about this castle was built with one single purpose, to absolutely blow you away. And this is what I find so cool about it. You've got all that classic, powerful Baroque stuff, the grand staircases, the super intricate carvings, but then you look a little closer and you start to see these other little details. There are touches of the later Rococo style in there. See those softer curved rinds, the pastel colors and delicate ornaments? It's this amazing mix of raw power and subtle elegance that really makes Skokloster stand out. So just to give you a sense of the scale here, the castle is about 50 meters tall. To put that in perspective, that's like a 16-story building. So yeah, it's a seriously imposing structure. You can't miss it. And it's not just about the height. The whole estate is massive, sprawling over 10 hectares. We're talking about a huge piece of land, all designed to basically scream, I am powerful and I am rich. But believe it or not, that incredible exterior is just the beginning. So let's step inside the castle walls and get this tour properly started. Okay, so here's the plan. First, we'll hit the stable yard. Then, we're going to wander around and maybe get a little lost in the garden maze. And finally, we'll dive deep into some history over at the museum. I love this quote, a peaceful oasis within the castle walls. It just perfectly captures the vibe of the garden maze, doesn't it? It's meant to be this quiet, beautiful escape right on the property. You can just imagine taking a stroll through those paths. Now, the museum is really special. It's not just some generic history museum. Nope, its focus is super specific, which is what makes it so cool. It's all about the nobility's obsession with hunting and falconry. It gives you this perfect little window into what life was actually like for the people who built this place. Okay, but a castle isn't just bricks and mortar, right? It's really about the people who lived there. And for centuries, this was the royal summer retreat. You can bet these walls have seen a thing or two. This timeline really shows you the whole journey. It starts out in the 1600s as a pretty functional hunting lodge for a king. Then, a century later, the nobility starts renovating and adding on. Fast forward to the 20th century, and it's become a favorite summer spot for Queen Victoria. And that big restoration in 2015, that's what makes sure we can still enjoy it today. And that royal connection, it runs deep. We're not just talking about one king or one queen. It's a whole line of Swedish royals who lived here, which is why it's so cemented in the country's history. Okay, so here's something important to know. You might be wondering if it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Well, it's not. But, and this is a big but, it is officially recognized as a Swedish Cultural Heritage Site. That means for Sweden, this place is a huge deal, a protected national treasure. So after hearing all this, maybe you're thinking, hey, I'd love to actually go there. Well, let's talk about how you can make that happen. Turn this little virtual trip into a real one. And you know what? Getting there is surprisingly easy. You can totally do it with public transport. You just hop on a regional train to the Varnshara station, and from there, it's a really pleasant 10-minute walk to the castle. Super simple. And if you do end up going, here are 3 quick tips to make your visit awesome. First, for sure, take a guided tour. That's how you'll get all the juicy stories we've been talking about. Second, absolutely get lost in that garden maze for a while. And third, don't forget to check out the stable yard. You gotta see the horses. So, as we start to wrap this up, it's pretty clear that Skokloster Castle is way more than just an old building. It's like a living piece of Swedish history, perfectly preserved. A true time capsule of architecture, royalty, and culture. And that kind of brings me to a final thought for you. Everyone who visits a place like this is looking for something different. So my question to you is, if you were the one walking through those gates, what hidden story would you hope to find? What's the one secret you'd most want to uncover? Thanks for joining me for this one.